Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I have swatches for you from the October release by the Don Deeva. These are releasing October 9th, so in the description box below I will link the Don Deeva site. I will link their Instagram page, their Facebook page, and then my Instagram page where you can see more swatches of everything from today's video. There are a total of 12 polishes we have to share with you today, and let's go ahead and get started. So first we have Opal, and this is described as a sultry misty flakes in green, pink, gold, and blue, and this is in a clear base. So here is Opal. I do have pictures of this over black, but my video swatch is going to be 3 coats on its own. Formula is wonderful to work with, not too thin or too thick, very smooth and easy to apply. I didn't get full opacity on 3 coats, but it did hide enough of my nail line that I was very happy. You'll want top coat because it dries dull, so there's 3 coats. Up next we have I Bleed Pretty, and this is described as a blood red with heaping helpings of blue unicorn pea. Here is I Bleed Pretty. This one is very richly pigmented on the first coat. I'm going to build this one up in 2 today. The shifty shimmer that's in here stands out so nicely against this base color, and it's going to look different colors in different lighting. This one dries matte, so you will want top coat, and removal's easy. So there is 2 coats. Up next we have Leatherface, and this is described as a terracotta brown orange in the warm state and then a chilly mint green in the cold state. There's also flecks of blood red, micro flakes, and a heavy copper shimmer. Here's Leatherface, and this one is changing on me as we speak. Formula is wonderful, not too thick or too thin. Again, very opaque on this first coat and completely opaque in 2. You will want top coat again for shine on this one, and removal will be easy. So there is 2 coats. Up next we have Libra AF, and this is described as a green jelly base full of flakes of all sizes and colors. This also has different sizes of green hex glitters and a gust of aurora shimmer. Here is Libra AF. This one is a little bit more on the sheer side, but very buildable and very easy to work with. You get a ton of these little glitters out, and it accents the base color so beautifully. Again, a great, easy to work with formula, and completely opaque in 3 coats. This one will dry dull and textured, so you'll want top coat, and removal can be difficult, so there's 3 coats. Up next we have Voorhes, and this is described as a deep lake black mysterious, shifting to a dark metallic green and copper in the light. There's also hollow flakes in this one. Here's Voorhes, again a very opaque polish on this first coat. It builds up nicely in 2. Very shifty on the nails. This one is also going to dry on the dull side and with the slightest bit of texture, so I would recommend going in with top coat. And this one does have a little bit of scrubbing for removal. So there's 2 coats. Up next we have Moonstone Capstone, and this is described as a delicate moonstone periwinkle purple full of blue unicorn pea. Here's Moonstone Capstone. This one is very sheer. I'm going to build this one up in 3 today, and I did still have some visible nail line hanging around. That doesn't bother me with a shade like this. If it bothers you, I would recommend putting this over a blue or a purple, and you'll still get that beautiful shimmer shining through. This one does dry on the dull side, so I would again recommend top coat, but removal on this one is very easy. So there is 3 coats. Up next we have Mikey Myers, and this is described as a thermal that goes from a blue-purple when cold to a fuchsia when warm. This one also has a heavy blue shimmer and blue microflakes. So here's Mikey Myers, and this one is very opaque here on this first coat. This is a thermal. I don't think with this one I showed the transition because I didn't know where my hairdryer was at the time, but you will be able to see it in photos. This one does dry almost totally matte, so I would recommend top coat for this one, and removal is going to be easy. So there is 2 coats. Up next we have Franky Stein Jr, and this is a thermal that goes from this deep maroon when it's cold to a bright green when it's warm. This one also has red microflakes and a heavy blue shift. Here's Franky Stein Jr. This one is also very pigmented. I built this one up in 2 coats today. Depending on your application, you might want to go for 3. The warm state is a bright green, so it's a little bit more sheer. You will want top coat because it dries dull and removal is easy. So here is the transition to that green state, and there's 2 coats. Up next we have Finger Freddy, and this one is described as a reddish black thermal. This also has red flakes. It does have a blue flake as well, and then a minty blue state when it's warm. Here's Finger Freddy, and as far as the thermals go, this one is the most sheer. I was still able to reach opacity in 2 coats, but depending on your application, you might need 3. This one is also going to dry almost totally matte, so I would again recommend top coat if you don't love that, and removal is easy. And here's that transition. So there is 2 coats. Up next we have Sally, and this is described as a shifty purple polish that shifts to a pink. This is also loaded with hollow flakies and a shimmer. Here's our first coat of Sally. This one is very pigmented, very smooth formula to work with, no running, pulling, or staining. I got complete opacity in 2 coats. The shifty shimmer that's in here is so beautiful, so shifty. And you'll want top coat because it dries dull and slightly textured, and removal is a little bit difficult, so there's 2 coats. Up next we have Jack, and this is described as a gray, slightly purple crelly. This does have hex glitters as well as hollow flakes. Here is Jack. This one is a little bit sheer, but it does build up nicely in 2 for me. Depending on your application, you might want to go in for 3. This one will dry dull and textured. I would again recommend top coat. Removal is going to take some scrubbing on this one, and you might need 3 coats, but I stopped at 2. So there is 2 coats. And lastly for today we have the Punkin Queen, and this one's described as a squishy black jelly base loaded with copper and orange flakes. This one also has orange and copper hex glitters. Here is the Punkin Queen. I think this one is the perfect amount of pigmentation of black to be able to see all the added elements throughout still. You will want top coat. This does dry pretty textured, and removal is going to take some scrubbing. There's a good amount of glitter in this one. So there is 2 coats. So especially with the Don Deeva releases, I don't like to limit myself to how many favorites I can pick. So I've got 5. The first one is Leatherface. I think this is such a gorgeous thermal transition that you don't see often. You don't see this color combination often. It's got a beautiful formula, very easy to work with, very easy thermal to capture, so I always appreciate something in that nature. The next one is Franky Stein Jr., again a thermal, and this is like a spin off of Franky Stein, which I also really loved from her. So I really like those 2 in the thermal department. And then I really liked JJ Voorhes. This is just a stunning unicorn pea-filled polish. Very beautiful, very shifty, very appropriate for Halloween. Love her. And then Jack and Sally. Sally is, again, that shifty kind of unicorn pea-filled multi-chrome. I have said this before, but I'm not a huge fan of just a straight up multi-chrome. They just don't do it for me, but when you add something else to it, if it's hollow, if it's a shifty shimmer, I think the shifty on shifty thing is one of my favorite things of all times. So while I don't just love shifty, shifty on shifty is like shifty, and I love it. So Jack would be my other favorite. This is such a gorgeous little crelly, and I think these make a beautiful combination. So I had 5 standouts from this collection. And guys, that is it. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of these polishes. Let me know if you plan on picking any of them up, and let me know what your favorite was. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, subscribe if you'd like to see more from me, and I will talk to you again next time.